Hello, I'm Sierra Scott. Welcome to It's All Good. This is a show dedicated to people, places, companies, and organizations that are working hard to make the world a better place to live. No issue seems to inspire more heated debate than health care. Well, one Kansas-based organization thinks it may have the answer to the skyrocketing cost of health care. Prevent the problem before it starts. That's the goal this center has had for 35 years.
Because so many people are spent, they're tired, they're depleted, they're depressed, they have nothing left to give. And so this type of responsible self-care can help people generate the energy and enthusiasm they need to actually be of service to the world.
If you've driven through Wichita on Highway 96, you've probably seen them. These white igloo-shaped domes that rise out of the prairie. Although most people know where they are, very few really know what goes on inside them. This is the Riordan Clinic, a place dedicated to not only helping you live longer, but adding more life to those years. In other words, it's about quantity and quality.
See, we don't fix people here. We don't heal people. We give people the tools so that they can take care of themselves and let the natural healing process emerge. That's the miracle.
The Riordan Clinic was founded back in 1975 from the shared vision of Dr. Hugh Riordan and Olive W. Garvey.
The mission is to stimulate an epidemic of health.
Brian Riordan is the son of the center's founder. For 3.5 decades, the center has been devoted to keeping people healthy rather than waiting for them to get sick.
The medical profession has been basically a profession to come in at the time of need and rescue, acute care. And health is something you do before you get sick. You're avoiding the illness by making better choices.
Education is a big thing here. Patients are referred to as co-learners because they're expected to actively take part in their treatment. Dee Rempel-Suderman is one of those co-learners. She's been going to the clinic for about 3.5 years.
The first day I was at the clinic, what they gave me was hope.
Dr. Ron, as he's referred to here, has been at the Riordan Clinic for 22 years.
Well, when I was in medical school, I kept thinking, when are they going to talk about health? Because I thought that's why you became a doctor, is to help people get healthier. But it turns out most of medical training is about disease and sickness care. And again, we do need that. Thank goodness we have that in our system. I tell people, if I'm in a car wreck, don't bring me to the Riordan Clinic. Take me to the emergency room. But that's acute care. Now, for chronic degenerative disease, that very often is something is missing or something's out of balance, and just putting a Band-Aid over that isn't necessarily solving the problem. Taping the crying baby's mouth is not getting at the underlying cause.
In other words, the baby's no longer crying, but the cause is still there.
You know, symptoms are just signals that something's not right. They start to see, wait a minute, this illness is telling me something. What can I learn about myself that will help me shift into better habits of health, better self-care, more awareness of what it is that helps me grow my health? 50% of Americans have one of the 3 major symptoms of prediabetes. 68% of Americans are now overweight. Most of the Americans, if you talk to people, they're tired. They're depressed, they're stressed, they have frequent infections, and they're in many ways disenchanted with just taking more medication. More medication may help you control symptoms, but it's not going to help you achieve a higher plateau of wellness and functioning. And so, but the question always is, why did that patient get that diagnosis? Why didn't everyone get asthma? Why doesn't everyone have rheumatoid arthritis? Well, there's reasons why some people are more susceptible than others. Nutritional deficiencies, immune dysfunction disorders, toxicities that can be corrected, hormonal imbalances that can be modified, and these are the things that we look at.
Rather than prescribe a one-size-fits-all medication, each patient is given a battery of tests to determine if they have any vitamin, mineral, or other deficiencies.
And by treating causes rather than just treating symptoms, we're going to have much better results. But it takes time. It's detective work.
After the initial evaluation, each co-learner is given recommendations to address their specific needs. For some, it's as simple as making dietary changes. For others, it's adding supplements or vitamins into their diet. Still others get the vitamin C IV treatments that have shown some promise in treating cancer. Dr. Ron says, sadly, most of the co-learners don't think of this as their first choice.
People are still mostly coming when they are desperate and everything else has failed.
But that doesn't mean they don't have some amazing success stories. Even at their very sickest, some of these co-learners turn their health around. Carrie Reinecke was only 19 years old when she started coming here.
I mean, right now I weigh about 150 pounds, and when I was at my sickest point, I was right at 100 pounds. I had been battling ulcerative colitis for about 6 or 7 months before I came here, and was told by a person at the Mayo Clinic that I had no other option but to have a colostomy. I have an appointment.
Which would have required her to live with a colostomy bag for the rest of her life. As young as she was, she just didn't want to commit to that unless she absolutely had to.
By that point, we had kind of exhausted all of our other efforts. So this was an option where, you know, if it was possible, then we would try it, rather than have surgery and remove the colon.
At that time, she was taking all kinds of medication, too.
I was on 80 milligrams of prednisone for quite a while, and now I have no symptoms whatsoever. I take no medication or anything like that.
Carrie lives in Seneca, Kansas, and was willing to make the 4-hour drive here once a week to get IV nutrition and other supplements to try to cure her problems. She says it wasn't very long before she noticed a change, but it took 8 or 9 months before she was cured.
I have a life now that I couldn't have had before.
Dee was dealing with a number of different health issues when she came to the center.
It was fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, exhausted adrenals, and all of the accompanying things that go with it. Fibromyalgia itself has about 60 symptoms, and when I looked at that, I had all of them.
But not anymore.
Many of them are gone now. I am doing so much better. I'm extremely grateful to them. It's a celebration that I am where I am.
Dee says the doctors made all the difference.
You feel like the most important person in the whole wide world. They allow me to be a co-learner. That means that I get to ask them questions. I get to study. I need to say, I read about this. You know, is that something that we can do? That feels so wonderful to have that kind of a relationship with a doctor, that I can make suggestions and that we can talk about it. And sometimes they'll say, well, in this book it says, what do you think? And, well, no, we don't consider that to have worked very well for other people. And that's fine, but I appreciate that co-learner relationship so very, very much.
Until they find this clinic, many patients like Dee get extremely frustrated.
Because I didn't know what was happening to me. I remember standing in the middle of the room screaming, I don't know what's happening to me. I don't know who I am. You know, just help. Somebody help. I remember begging Dr. Ron to please give me myself back. Please give me my life back. Help me get my life back. I was so desperate.
Before she found the Riordan Center, Dee says,
I was given an antidepressant, which did nothing.
Thanks to the Riordan Clinic's dedication to helping co-learners get the very latest and most up-to-date research that enables them to help themselves.
Because I was trying to take things that I had read would help. Well, I didn't know what I was doing, and it was very helpful to have them test to find out what amount I needed of what supplements.
If you're like me, when you go into the store to buy vitamins, you aren't sure exactly which ones to pick. Is 200 milligrams of vitamin C not enough? Is 1,000 milligrams better because there's more of it? How do you know which one to buy? Well, coming up next, we have the answer. Before the break, we talked about the fact that buying vitamins and supplements can be really confusing because you don't necessarily know how much to take. Well, testing here at the Riordan Clinic lets you know exactly how much of each nutrient is in your blood, so you know exactly the right amount to take for your individual body.
You probably have a friend that told you, I took CoQ10 and it changed my life. And so you took it and it didn't do a thing for you. Okay? And so, but when you start to measure and characterize the biochemical uniqueness of that particular patient, doesn't matter what disease they have, we can have 10 people with fibromyalgia and have 10 different constellations of nutrient deficiencies. But by using the lab, you now take it out of the realm of speculation and into objective, personalized medicine, where I'm making recommendations for you, not for your family or your friends, but for you. And really, that's what good medical care should be.
Extensive research is also done on all the supplements sold here, so you know exactly what you're getting.
You know, is what I'm taking doing me any good? Am I taking the real thing? The nutrients that we sell are only there because they have survived the test of time. Nevertheless, these are the best ones that we can find, because we found that certain nutrients didn't test well. See, we're measuring people every day, and we're getting feedback on whether or not what we're recommending to them is actually improving their nutrient levels and improving their conditions. And if they're not, we take those out.
And there's a lot of different factors they look at: absorption, quality of the mineral itself, all these different factors. And we also do assays on each nutrient we have for sale. So what they say is in the bottle and what's actually in the bottle sometimes can be different, and you have to send it to an independent lab to understand, to make sure that.
What might surprise you is the fact that supplements and vitamins are not regulated. In other words, the government never checks to see if what it says on the outside of the bottle is actually what's inside. Some nutrients don't contain as much of the ingredient as it says on the bottle. Others may have coatings that don't dissolve in your stomach correctly, so the nutrients are never absorbed into your body. Not only is Riordan Clinic devoted to keeping people healthy, there's a lot of groundbreaking research that goes on here too.
We're particularly well known for having success with cancers.
And we were able to discern that certain nutrients could be used, like high-dose vitamin C, could be used to change the course of cancer and to help patients more effectively deal with their illness.
That has since branched off into adult stem cell research.
Your stem cells are those cells, they're the healing component of the body. And if you're deficient in certain nutrients, those stem cells don't work as well. Or if you're toxic in certain heavy metals like lead or mercury, those stem cells don't work as well. Or if you have chronic infections that deplete your stem cell reserves, then you develop plaque in the lining of your arteries. And what we're looking at is how we can use nutrition in the proper dose for the right person, for the right condition, to stimulate these healing cells to work better.
Brian says the research has found that the more stem cells you have, the more healthy you seem to be.
We've developed a test here in Wichita, one of the first places on earth we can actually test how many stem cells you have circulating in your body. And we're just now making it available to, taking it out of the research lab and making it available to patients and other doctors around the world. So that's very exciting for us. And in general, we are stepping up our efforts in understanding stem cells and how do we promote their growth and circulation in our body, because it does seem that they are effective at preventing disease.
That's cool. I didn't realize we were doing groundbreaking research here.
We are. We always have been. We've done other work for which we won the best scientific paper of the year, I think 3 years ago, for one of our PhD researchers flew to London, received a medal for it.
Another treatment the Riordan Clinic offers is IV nutrition. IV nutrition has been shown to reduce inflammation, and Dr. Ron says it can reduce your stress and improve your energy too.
And when you are talking cells, cells don't care what the name of your disease is. They want to know, am I getting enough of these types of nutrients? Am I avoiding these types of toxins? Nutrition and detoxification are the foundation of good cellular health.
It's a combination of vitamin C, B complex, magnesium, calcium, B5, and B6.
It's safe, it's quick, it's very American. We want to feel better yesterday. So IV nutrition is a quick way to get those levels built up safely and effectively.
Dee swears by that treatment.
For 2.5 years, I took weekly IVs.
She says she feels like a totally different woman now. Even people like Dee, who think they're already eating well, might be surprised to find out they may not be. After cytotoxic testing, many people find out even if they're eating a lot of fruits, vegetables, and even wheat bread, that's not the best plan for them specifically.
Someone say, you know, this food which you think is so great for you may not be great for you.
I know.
Even though broccoli, in general, broccoli and tomatoes, they're very nutritious foods, but when in the realm of food sensitivities, they can be hard on a person. I'm very sensitive to onions, and a lot of people say onions are great, but not for me.
Not for you, right, exactly.
I was even allergic to carrots, heaven forbid, at one time. I mean, carrots are good for you. But my body was misreading and considering it an enemy.
And I'm one too. I have one to chicken, and it's mild, but if I have chicken, I'll be sleepy. And that's inconvenient sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, you might not be sensitive enough to these foods that you really notice major symptoms, but that doesn't mean they're not causing inflammation in your body. Inflammation which can lead to heart attack, stroke, and even some types of cancer. Many people find that after eliminating these foods, they feel a lot more energetic and happy. It's not just the testing that's cutting edge here, the building is too. This 40,000 square foot facility is located on 90 acres of land. Because of its unusual shape, a lot of people think the facility is New Age, but the Riordan Clinic does not adhere to any one religious philosophy. The original founders wanted to create a place that would be unlike anything else on earth, and they certainly succeeded.
The geodesic domes were chosen because they are quite strong and inexpensive for the amount of square feet they provide. And they're also energy efficient, so they're cheaper to heat and cool.
Since these domes are 25 years old, this building was green before green was ever cool. The shape of the building encloses the greatest amount of space with the least amount of surface area, and the open interior allows air to circulate without obstruction. Since patients are expected to be co-learners, education is a major focus here.
And so the theme of the lifestyle care is for us to become more proactive.
So we have our lecture series every week for 20 years now. We've had our physicians get up and speak, and those are all recorded and available on our website. It's available for people to come access. We have a lot of journals that aren't available otherwise in Wichita, especially around new medical advances and alternative therapies, that sort of thing.
They also keep all of their newsletters on file, which contain years of groundbreaking research they continue to add to every single day.
Aging is a mistake that we don't have to make. Now, granted, we're chronologically all going to get older, but by better choices, we can slow the deterioration that we assume goes along with aging.
In other words, aging is inevitable, but growing old is not.
And if we can inspire people to take better care of themselves, then we feel like we've accomplished our mission.
A mission that's changing the world one person at a time.
I really do want to make sure that people know that there is hope.
About 6,000 to 7,000 patients come through these doors every year. Dr. Ron says people fly in from all over the world to come to the Riordan Clinic. They've had people from all 50 states and more than 30 countries like Japan, Spain, and Germany come to take advantage of the expertise here.